Welcome back to Orange County's Real Estate Hot 30. I'm Lena Fayyad, and next to me on the screen is
Holly McDonald.
welcome back, everybody. We just kind of wanted to come today. It's Friday, and we're in September and almost going into October, guys. We wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what's going on with the inventory and why things are selling really fast. With the interest rates being low and some homes are getting top dollar right now. So, Holly, where would you like to start off this incredible pod today? I know there's a lot going on, especially with COVID being, the main factor of this year's kind of fluctuation of how the market's going, but it's been strong. And what do you have?
Well, I think what kind of sparked the inspiration for this podcast is from talking to some of our past clients about the market and just kind of educating them on where it is. We found that so many people are completely taken aback and shocked at how well Orange County and Southern California has really been doing, considering what a crazy year 2020 has been. I know if you watch the news and you see the headlines, you might come across the news that, home sales are up and prices are up and interest rates are down and all of that. But, really to let it sink in, we were talking to a past client who purchased just about a year ago, and they were pleasantly surprised to hear that not only has the market sustained, which, over the course of a year, that's obviously your hope as a homeowner, is that your home will continue to do well and hold its equity and maintain its value. But the amount of increase was quite substantial for some of our clients. And like I said, they were just very surprised. And given the fact that we are in a year where we're in a pandemic and there's a lot of job upset and economy turmoil and turbulence, the real estate market was really a bright spot for this homeowner to hear about. And, we just wanted to kind of explain some of the factors that are going into that, so that you can really understand like the economics behind why the real estate market is doing well, whereas, other industries, unfortunately, may have taken more of a hit during this time.
No, totally. And you're right. Unemployment, yes, has been a very high, especially after the pandemic and people losing their jobs. But, with the 2020, I call it the COVID recession, is coming through the nation, and it's combined with the, inventory was great, but now I feel like as we're getting into the end of the year, some things are really being taken up. So inventory is really not as it was, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, you're not wrong at all. I mean, honestly, prices have ticked up slightly in most areas. And most of that is due to the law of supply and demand. We just have really low supply and really high demand. It's the perfect storm for a really good combination of home values.
And I mean, I think Orange County has been able to maintain just the sales volume in general. Maybe we didn't weren't affected as maybe the rest of the nation, but I know September activity was a little bit low because of the forest fires. I was reading a little bit on that, but prices are up, and even though there's less homes, I still feel like prices are up, and people who are trying to sell these last 3 months are like, I feel my home deserves top dollar, and it does. I agree with them. It totally does. And here we are, buyers, loving the interest rate. And like you said, it's a good time to buy. It's a good investment to get a very low interest rate for an next period number of years. It's a smart investment.
Well, and, think of it from the shoes of a seller. There's no better time to try to get that top dollar when you don't have competition of, 10 houses for sale in your neighborhood. When you know that there are buyers out there that want to take advantage of the rates, like you just said, all of that can work really well for a seller if they are, trying to strategize and make sure that, maybe they do have a high number. And, I think the important thing to realize is that, if you're off the wall and just trying to shoot for multiple millions of dollars and your house is just not worth that, okay, it may not be the time for you to get that type of price. But I have seen a lot of sellers getting prices that they wouldn't have gotten last year and they wouldn't have gotten in 2018, and they're up, so obviously that's always a nice thing. And we don't know where it's going to be in 2021 yet. It's so hard to say, but we do know that right now with the lack of inventory and the low rates, it's just such a good time for a lot of people to capitalize on it.
Because also for the buyers who are waiting for the supposedly prices in 2021 to kind of level out or so-called, drop a little bit, who knows how the interest rates are going to be then. And then what, and I wanted to ask you, I know like inventory, because you've been in real estate longer than I have. So what was it like maybe this time usually, because I know fall is a great time for real estate, it's like the best time, but fall this year was different. So, now heading into the winter and trying, I'm just wondering, is it going to be any different? I'm sure it is,
I think this
kind of like my first little curve in real estate that I'm experiencing as a realtor,
I think this year in general, you can really expect that a lot of things are going to be the unexpected. I think, none of us would have predicted how 2020 was going to turn out. The summer was really strong, and our summer markets are not usually the best time of year. Usually our best time of year is, the spring, which is normal. And then there usually is a slight resurgence in the fall for people that maybe, just wanted to get into a new home before the end of the year and before the holidays and all of that. This year, I think the lack of inventory is going to continue to help sellers. I think that the low interest rates definitely going to continue to help sellers. What I'm seeing from some of the reports that I get are that the number of homes for sale is slightly down from where it was a couple of weeks ago, and this totally makes sense. We have officially entered fall.
Yes.
And on the other hand, the amount of demand from buyers is also slightly down, like a couple of percent, nothing drastic, but that does show that, yeah, you know what? Schools are going back and people are slowly going back into work and things are normalizing. And so, your time available to go house hunting might not be as prevalent as it was a month ago. So those factors are coming into play. But regardless, there's still going to be so many people that wanted to sell in the spring of 2020 and didn't, because we were in a pandemic and we were on lockdown. And there's so many people that still, regardless, like if they wanted to buy in 2020 and they see like the positives of doing so, this is like their last shot. There's only like 3 months left of the year, but it's still doable. For anybody that still wants to buy this year, you could still do it. It only takes a month really for most people to close escrow. So it's possible.
I know. What was it that you shared with me, the average market time of the home in SoCal now?
It's under 40 days. It's just under 40 days, which honestly, that's an average of like the thousands of homes that are available.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, a normal hot market average selling time is 60 days. Whether that seems long or short to you, remember it's an average, but 60 days is the normal hot market, and we're at under 40. So that's like sizzling.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, I think hopefully this gives our buyers and sellers also, some hope into kind of rethinking, if I want to sell in 2021, why not now and really get top dollar? Because I have a feeling going into 2021, maybe, people are going to slow down when the new year comes. And maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I have a feeling if you're trying to sell in the next 3 months. You heard me.
Well, I think that
Hopefully.
the conditions would definitely suggest that is sound advice. But I also know from experience that there are just going to be people that, for life reasons and planning purposes, it's going to make sense to wait for the spring. And we've all been conditioned to think that the spring is hot. And it is. This spring was really the only exception I can think of, and that's because of COVID. But before COVID struck, the market was like on fire. And then once we got back into May, it picked up tremendously. So it really only skipped a beat. And then look at where we're at now. Higher prices, lower interest rates, like shorter market time.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's all I have for right now. I think also being a proactive agent really makes a difference with sales. I think it's the proactive agents that have been keeping the sales volume up in our area, and that's good to see. I'm really happy to see that. So, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, no, I think that that's absolutely true. I think that if it weren't for educating the consumers about, why is it a good time to buy or why is it a good time to sell, people might be kind of paralyzed into thinking that this is the worst time because
Yes.
the world is all like on tilt right now. But the fact of the matter is that if you are getting a home, for a long-term investment and you're getting a good price for what the market is and you're getting a great interest rate,
It can't get better than that.
yeah, it's
It
an
really can.
investment. It's buying real estate, unless you're a flipper, is typically not a short-term investment. You got to be in it for the long haul. And even for people that bought during or prior to the Great Recession that we had, where yes, prices did come down, but it was this is a whole different podcast, but that was a whole different set of economic circumstances that led to the Great Recession. And from what I'm hearing from most, people that are economists and who really study the market, that's, not what we're in.
Yeah.
It's true that prices are on the high side for like this cycle. Yes, it is true, but we're not overinflated. We weren't giving out bad loans. There's just a lot of positive things to be had here. And honestly, like for myself personally, I know I talked about having purchased my own home just recently during the pandemic of all times, but the low interest rates made it so darn appealing. And that's why so many buyers are scooping them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you said, it's really not the same case as the depression we had prior, because I feel, I don't know, maybe it's this was just a little hiccup, and I feel like you said there's a big shift now coming into the end of 2020, and people are getting used to going out and looking at homes with masks and signing the COVID form, and I think it's just going to be the new norm to take these precautions, whether it's the era of COVID or the near future.
Yeah, and I think one other thing I just wanted to point out that was on our notes is just that, given the fact that there's a lot of buyers waiting on the sidelines. They are waiting for prices to drop where they feel like they can get a deal. And I get it. I'm a bargain shopper too. Of course you want the best price you can get. But the fact is that, where we were in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, there were a ton of short sales and there were a ton of foreclosures, and it was a horrible time for so many people. And, for the people selling and going through it, it was traumatic. And for the buyers going through it, also traumatic. It was not ideal circumstances, that can be said. But right now, the inventory for anybody that's like looking for that screaming deal of distressed property, it's only like 0.3%. 0.3. That's not even 1% of all homes, all the thousands and thousands of homes for sale. Only 0.3 is a distressed foreclosure, short sale, etc. Back then, back over a decade ago, it was about 50% of the homes.
Wow.
Over like that 5-year period,
Yeah.
were distressed. I mean, that is obviously huge difference in numbers. And back then, yes, you could get a deal. And I'm not saying you can't get a deal now, but I'm saying those types of deals, they ain't happening right now. And I know, like yesterday, I just got contacted by somebody who saw a pre-foreclosure on Zillow, and we can do a whole different podcast on that. But let me just say one quick thing. If you see a pre-foreclosure, it's not for sale. If it says it's like $5,000, that's like a joke. Pre-foreclosures are one of the biggest misconceptions you're going to see online. Everybody gets excited about them because, yeah, there are a bunch of pre-foreclosures that you're going to see on Zillow and Trulia and all those sites, but they're not representative. They're not actually for sale. They are just public record telling you that maybe the seller is behind. And you know what? Yeah, there are sellers behind. A lot of people did take forbearances because of their work situations. But, the forbearances there's different ways that they are structured. A lot of people are paying them back at the end of the loan. So they might be delinquent, but they're going to make it up. So it's not like that house is, it's very unlikely that it's going to end up on the market, be a below market value. Why would the bank sell it for below market value when they could sell it for top dollar and, make a killing on it right now because the, inventory is so low. The reason that all of the short sales and distressed sales were so affordable back then was because there was just so many flooding the marketplace that there was so much supply that there wasn't enough demand. So it was like the opposite of what we have now.
Wow. This is so good. I learned something new myself. 0.03 is so little, like compared to all the homes that are active right now. Like, so hopefully that's like it's a very minute. So hopefully that gives me hope, and I think should give a lot of sellers and buyers out there hope. So again, guys, if you have any questions regarding anything that comes up on Zillow, please reach out to us, comment below, ask any questions. We're here to assist. Holly, great info.
We've got some amazing statistics and data about the market that we are happy to share with you. If you just message us, we can send those reports your way and really keep you in the know. I think with real estate and anything financially related, knowledge is power, and the more information you have, the more in a position you are to make really smart decisions about how to manage your money, your resources, and ultimately the roof over your head.
Of course, absolutely. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Thank you for watching Orange County's Real Estate Hot 30. I am Lena Fayyad.
I'm Holly McDonald.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.